Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Um,
We're going to talk about the seminar, but we're going to do it in English, so we can easily continue the whatever questions you had after you heard the seminar.
So, why was this opportunity given to Greece?
That was the title of the seminar.
Yeah.
Before we continue, we need to make it clear to some Greeks that are going to listen to this, that live outside of Greece, that both of us are Greek, because a few things will be said against the Greeks, and they might get upset that someone is saying things against the Greeks. Both of us are Greek. We just need to make it clear to these people. Now, the title of the seminar, I called the title of the seminar, Why Was This Opportunity Given to Greece? It might not be grammatically correct, but it's just the way it was coming out.
Okay.
Yeah. Why was this opportunity given to Greece? Before we explain this, we first need to explain a little bit about 2012 and what is happening. We can find many videos on YouTube and many books about 2012 and what is happening. So I will make it as concise as possible, as quick as possible. At the end of 2012, Earth is beginning to go into another dimension, another reality, another way of living. Many of us call this the fifth dimension. Other people call it the Age of Enlightenment, the Golden Age, and what have you. All are true. A few things need to happen before we actually go into this fifth dimension, which begins at the end of 2012. It does not happen in one day. We have 5 years, which are called the transitional period or the transition period, whichever way you talk. And by the end of 2017, we will be totally fifth dimensional. Now, something needs to happen before we get there. One of the first things that needs to happen is one race of people, I should not call it, one ethnicity or one nationality or one country needs to take its power back from the government. And what is happening in Greece right now is an opportunity for the Greeks to be the first ones that will take their power back from the government. The Greeks are now seeing that the government is not working, it does not work for them, and this will cause them to look inside themselves and to ask the question, maybe it is my fault. That is one way they will take back their power from the government. It's also the easiest way they can take back their power from the government. It's not that it is their fault and not the government's fault. When you see the bigger picture, it's really nobody's fault. But because we blame people and governments, we give them our power. Every time we blame something or someone, we have given our power to this something or someone. And the easiest way to take back our power is the same way we gave it. To play the blame game, but backwards. Next time we think of the government isn't doing this for Greece, or the government has put us into debt, we simply say, do you think maybe it's my fault? And that way we take back all our power from all these people we have accused. In Greece, they accuse banks a lot. They also accuse other governments for not bailing them out. In example, Germany. By accusing Germany, we give our power to Germany, and we are actually making Germany even stronger than what it is. So next time we think of doing this, simply say, maybe it's my fault. And then all the power we have given to Germany will automatically come back to us. And we could become the first nationality, the first country to take back our power from the government, hold on to our own power, and go in through the transformation much easier into what is called the fifth dimension, which begins at the end of 2012.
It's weird that Greece was chosen for something like this. Is it because the Greeks are more susceptible to blaming others and to becoming more victimized by government church and society than other European countries?
We said the word chosen, and someone might ask, well, who chose them? It's what we call the collective consciousness. The earth, every nationality or every area, let's say, for instance, America is way too big to be called just one nationality. Californians do think different than New Englanders, so we might not be able to put them in the same boat. However, small countries like Greece, they do have a collective consciousness that is pretty much the same. So it's their own collective consciousness that has chosen this, or maybe even the collective consciousness of Earth, or maybe even Earth herself has chosen the Greeks to be the first ones into the next dimension, or maybe the first ones to take back their power from the government. It's very difficult to choose a nationality from Northern Europe because they have so much common sense. In order to take back your power from the government, you need to be a nationality that doesn't express too much common sense. Again, I have to remind whoever is listening that I'm Greek. Okay, the Greeks do not express common sense. They don't have much of it to express. They have many other things, but they really, really lack in common sense. There's no good or bad here. Everyone is a different part of the same creator, the same god, goddess. Greeks were not made to express common sense. They express a different part of creator. And in order to take back your power from the government, you need to not have common sense, because common sense dictates that you need a government for the roads, for the services. But since Greece doesn't have those anyway, now it's not exactly a third world country, it simply isn't organized, and it never will be. Organization is not inside the Greek genes. That's the kind of people, though, that could easily take back their power, hold on to their power, and go individually into the next dimension. Because it's difficult to explain this, but we will go into the next dimension as individuals first, then as a country or a nationality. But it will be as an individual first. There are many nations in the world that do not express common sense like the Greeks do, but because a lot of them are what we call third world countries or poor countries, the rich countries don't respect them much. They will not listen to them. So the collective consciousness of Earth chose a country that is quite rich, that is what we call the first world. I don't know what, I'm stuck here now, but...
How about the land and the atmosphere of Greece? Like, the sun shines in a different way in this country. There is a type of vibration in the earth here that can create the need to visit this place. Maybe it was chosen because it is blessed in a way.
Greece, the country, the land, has been blessed with many things. However, it was chosen because of the people, because of the Greeks, not the land so much. One thing that this land does have is, if you can live in the moment, if you can manage to live in the moment, the land really supports you. The energy of the land really supports you.
So there is power. There
is a lot of power. It's not the only place in the world, of course. We don't want to say Greece is better than any other place on earth, because it isn't.
Thinking of the land.
If you can manage to live in the moment in Greece, you will be constantly living in magic. And the energy we're going into after 2012 will require us to be living in the moment only. So it does help Greece to make the first step into this, because the land at least supports it, supports this change, this movement into living in the moment. We are going into timelessness after 2012. We will be in no time. We won't have linear time like we do now. And it's easier, but I don't want to say it's difficult in other countries, but it is easier in a country like Greece that is very much in America they call it a mañana attitude. because it's what Spanish-speaking people, mañana means tomorrow in Spanish. And many Spanish-speaking people that live in America, they'll say, oh, mañana, like live for tomorrow. Greeks have perfected this because the land supports you to live for today. All this programming is very difficult. We've seen North Europeans that have been married to Greeks that have lived here for 20, 30 years and they've become Greek. They've lost their organizational things that they had when they were in Germany or Sweden. The land doesn't support you to think of tomorrow or the next day or the next year. It only supports the now. Of course, it isn't just Greece. It is also southern Italy. That's why the northern Italians are really annoyed with the southern Italians because they just can't organize themselves to save their own ass. And I think the land does have a lot to do with why Greeks are like this. But I see that it's the people that were chosen to make this first move into the next dimension.
Do Greeks function as individuals?
If Greeks if Greeks were comfortable functioning as individuals, they would have become gods. They're not comfortable, they're afraid of being an individual. That's why they cling on to family and friends. And that is stopping them from expressing godhood.
You've said several times in your seminars that Greeks live for others.
Unfortunately, they do, which is holding them back as individuals. They're afraid of their... Okay, everybody on earth is afraid of their power. That's why we give away our power so easily. I think I need another question because I'm a little bit stuck. I could say something from the brain instead of channeling to simply say that...
Okay, let's go back to what you said about taking back the power. In order for a Greek to take back his or her power, they will have to submit all the emotional baggage, let's say, all the ideas they have about family, relationships, children, in order to take their power back. Can they do that? Will they do that?
Okay. Almost everybody in the world is going to have to do this year. Because the Greeks have fallen down the rabbit hole so deep, they are going to have to be the first ones to do it.